Check it out. Let me tell you one.
Freedom for all.
What is up, my MMA brothers and sisters? Welcome to another segment of Let's Talk MMA here at my wonderful podcast, YouTube channel. Thank you for coming again. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments, subscribing, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. And today, I actually have back Nohelin SUAVE Hernandez, who just fought 2 days ago, March 18th, at the Global Knockout 9 event, which actually turned out to be really good from what I've seen. I want to actually get more of that event from Nohelin, but he won his fight. I tried looking for it. I'm going to ask him about it. As of right now, they're still getting the pictures and everything together. So once you see this video, you'll get to see it. But from now, haven't quite seen it. So I'm going to pick his brain, kind of talk to him about the fight and about what's coming up, because there is actually some possible good news. So we're going to find out. So let's give him a call and let's find out. Talk to Nohelin SUAVE Hernandez.
What's up, man?
SUAVE, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just hanging out at my local coffee shop.
Nice. Well, first off, I gotta actually give you a big congratulations officially, because you had mentioned it to me before. We kind of talked to try to talk after the fight, and I was kind of trying to keep my cool because I wanted to wait for this moment and give you a big congratulations. Obviously, you had a really good performance. I definitely want to get to that, but really quick before, talk to me about where we left off from last time. Last time we spoke, you obviously were training. You were looking towards this fight against Martin Day. So how did the rest of that training and your weight cut, how did all that kind of go for you?
Yeah, so just to finish off what we were talking about last time, I was getting ready for an opponent, Martin the Spartan Day out of Hawaii.
Yep.
He was 4-0, undefeated guy. He had to my knowledge and to what I was aware is he had a lot of hype behind him. I think all his fans, were rooting him on. Of course, he had a lot of support even in California, and that was kind of surprising. But I just went hard during training camp, stayed smart, stayed injury free. Leading up to the fight, I was making sure that my weight, I think most importantly, was on point. My strength and conditioning was on point, cardio, everything, man. This was a big fight for me. It was a big task. And actually, even speaking to my coaches, one of my coaches, Javier Mendez, who is obviously the head instructor of AKA,
And the man.
And he's the man. He's the man. He was a little tentative and a little I don't want to say nervous, but again, tentative about me taking this fight just because of the caliber opponent that he was.
Yeah.
But I had my striking coach Hector Fernandez, who had the most belief in me that I've seen any of my coaches have, and I think that's very important, and that's it kind of reassured me that I could go out there and I could have and I could go out there and finish this guy and perform well, and luckily I did. Again, he was a tough opponent, undefeated. He's never lost in his his whole career, both amateur MMA, amateur kickboxing, and his pro career. Who he was 4-0. Was knocking dudes out with his flashy spinning back kicks, and it was great. It was a great feeling to go out there and get the win.
And we kind of talked. I kind of let everybody know as of right now we're accumulating some photos and different things so people can see. But for right now, I haven't seen it. I actually started looking for it. Global Knockout has a YouTube channel, so I thought maybe it would be there. But just to confirm, as of right now, there's no way to really see it. Is that right?
That's correct. And I talked to some of the photographers and some of the people that were working for Global Knockout, and they said that. And again, let me just get this out there: that Global Knockout is a great promotion, man. They're on top of everything. They're super professional. Their photographers are great. They're just their whole staff. They're great, man. It's a great promotion, a great platform for any MMA fighter, really. But to confirm what you said, they are not releasing any videos yet. They did release a couple of pictures, but not all the pictures, and that's what I'm waiting on. And
sure.
And I got some of my fans that are waiting on the video too to be released. Cool. So, but once it does, I'll kick that to you. As you said, this is we're kind of in the works of this video right here, but
Yeah.
it should be coming out pretty soon.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm hoping by the time I actually do the video, I'll have them. I'll be able to put them in there, so technically it'll be happening while we're talking right now. It'll be some movie magic we'll do. Now, I got to say this about Global Knockout. I'm glad you brought it up because it was actually one of the questions I was going to ask you. Like, just as a promotion, I know they're more local here in California. For me, I'm actually, just like I'm going out looking to support any fighters that I can, kind of talk to, just kind of like you. Same thing with the promoters. And I actually had Global Knockout message me because they saw
dope.
our video and just kind of thanked me on it, and hopefully maybe there's something I could do with them later. But overall, from the visual, from like you said, the photography, even their posters and everything, I was like, man, they're like literally, as we get closer, kicking it up a notch. And so I'm glad to hear it on your side that everything's all good, because on my side, it looked very professional, very cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but it looked like a great promotion, and it was a great event.
Yeah, man, definitely a great staff. I definitely want to give a big shout out to them for giving me the opportunity and the platform to go and showcase what I had. In particular, Jose, who was the matchmaker for Global Knockout.
That was him. I didn't want to give him his name, but I don't know. It's probably not.
Maybe I shouldn't. But if you're watching this, Jose, thank you for the opportunity, and hopefully you get to work with my boy Raul right here.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, and he was a nice guy, and that's why I figured, I was like, I appreciate it for him to reach out to me, and I'm like, he's probably super busy trying to put all this together, but he took the time to do that. So Global Knockout, look out for Global Knockout. So let's get into this fight. So Martin Day, like you said, he's 4-0. I don't know if you know how many amateur fights he had, but I remember when I talked to you, you definitely were like, I know besides the 4-0, you're very aware that he had a lot of experience. So before we get to the actual fight, one last question on your training. How did you kind of feel going through this training compared to the ones before, knowing that you kind of had a tricky stand-up guy you're going to face?
Right. Well, I think as we spoke before, I didn't necessarily focus so much on him and what he brought to the table as much as I focused and knew about myself already, and that was that my technique. And I want to bring that up again. It's my technique. He throws a lot of spinning kicks. He throws a lot of kicks. He's kind of like a stationary fighter, I would want to say. And again, I'm looking at this analytically. There was, I knew coming into this fight that the spinning stuff is great. It's flashy, but I knew that this was not something that, this is something that I had to be aware of and respect. Sure. But not necessarily something that I knew that I was going to be hurt with, or, he was going to put me in danger, just because I've trained, and I don't know if I said this in the last interview, but coming up, I trained a lot of San Shao, and that's Chinese kickboxing. And, those guys and their style use a lot of, side kicks, front kicks, and predominantly back kicks. My former instructor was a student of Kung Lee, who, of course, you guys might know is, one of the best San Shao guys out there. Yeah. And so I believe that I come down from that lineage, and I kind of had confidence in that, I've seen it before. I had to respect it. I had to be aware of it, but I knew that I wasn't going to be a victim to any of the kicks, just for him or for any future fights.
Yeah. And I've seen that from your style. Like, I would have loved to see this fight. Hopefully I eventually will. But from what I've noticed about you, and what kind of caught my initial attention was your range. Like, you have this comfort, your range so well that you just kind of stick in there and you're able to find those opportunities. And I figured somebody who's going to be that flashy, you would have got out of the way, countered effectively. So I assume that's why you're probably pretty confident going into it. But let's talk about the fight. Assuming maybe we don't get to see it all, or however it ends up working out, how did the fight play out? Because obviously you finished it in the first round.
Right. Well, let me backtrack real quick to even the voyage to the fight. Sure. Me and one of my boys headed out to Jackson, California. It's it's a beautiful town, small city feel, really small city feel. We showed up to the casino. It was great. I actually showed up a little late to the weigh-ins, but it was okay because my opponent had weighed in already, so I didn't have to make anybody wait. It was all good. Showed up, got on the scale, weighed in at 136 pounds exactly. I never miss weight. It's something that I'm always proud of myself too, because I think in this profession, I think it's an insult, it's disrespectful, and I think it's you cheat your opponent if you come in a pound or 0.01 pounds heavy. Right. But yeah, walking through the fight, the day of the fight, me and my coaches, my corner, who was Hector Fernandez, a great stand-up coach, and my buddy Matthew Aragoni, jiu-jitsu black belt under Raul Castillo in Half Moon Bay. Just in the back, getting ready, mentally. I had my cut man Jesse G, one of the best cut men in the business. Just in the back, getting ready, man, mentally. Stretched out. Did my thing, warmed up a little bit, got my wind going. Started opening up my lungs a little bit. I knew that, once I had prepared for this moment for so long during training camp, that I assessed everything that was going to happen in my head, and I trained for it during the training camp. But we did the walkout.
How was that? What was that feeling like?
It was great, man. I think that no matter how many times you fight, or how tough you think you might be, you're always going to get nervous. And I think, that might be a misconception for some people that, fighters don't get scared. No, I was, it's a scary feeling. You're going to go in there and fight. And sometimes my body's response is to want to fall asleep, which is funny. But, But you kind of get into the moment and you're just like, okay, man, let's do this. We're ready. We trained months for this. And the walkout was great. It was a small, I don't want to say small venue, but smaller than definitely any of the other ones I've been to. Yeah. But it was packed. The place was packed. It was loud. My song came on and my heart started beating, and I just kind of embraced it. I embraced the moment and just went through with it, man. My corner, put the Vaseline on my eyebrows and my cheeks, and right before I go into the cage, I always just take a quick minute to think about everything that I sacrificed and thank God for even letting me get to this point. Got into the cage, felt it out a little bit because that was the first time I actually got inside the cage, and it was a good sized cage. Anyways, my opponent comes in. There was, again, he had a lot of fans out there, which was a little surprising for me, considering he was from Hawaii. And
I was going to ask you about that. As far as like when you were walking out, you initially mentioned this, and it seemed like that the crowd, he had a crowd. So would you say it was 50-50? Was it a lot more for him?
Yeah. No. I wouldn't necessarily say it was more towards him, because I had my people out there.
Yeah. And
we rolled in, and some of the people that were actually there were actually from the area, from either Gilroy, like my fans, or from around Gilroy. Nice. I think which was tight, man. So they had a cheer for the for me. Some of them were from like Watsonville, Salina, San Jose, just the area.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's that. But in terms of the fight, it was we got in there. I finished him in the first round, I believe. I don't know. I haven't looked at the video, but I think it was in the first 2 minutes. We got in there. Yeah, man, it was quick. It was what I wanted and kind of what I expected. But before that, we were feeling out, ourselves, and we got in there. He threw a couple of punches. I threw a couple of punches that I know made him respect me right away. I think it was like my right hand I threw at him, and his eye just started getting purple and started swelling up a little bit. I could see it in his face that I had hurt him, and right away I kind of knew, like, okay, now you felt the power of my hands, and so now you know what you're dealing with.
Hey, really quick, and I mean, sorry to cut you off there, but that moment, I'm just curious. That moment when and obviously you have a handful of fights, so you're aware of it. When you catch that first hit, like you said, and you caught his attention, do you feel like some type of like momentum change when that happens? Like that's a real thing, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely a momentum change in the mentality of the fighter. I think
in that moment between the two of you.
Yeah, when you're like, okay, damn, this guy either, you're thinking to yourself, okay, this guy either hits hard or he doesn't hit hard. And, based on that, you kind of, you give him a little bit of respect.
Once you find out, their next choices now have that be in the back of their head.
Oh, yeah. And knowing that, again, I'm looking at this analytically, no disrespect to Martin Day, but
Sure.
But because I knew he was more of like a Taekwondo-based fighter, I knew that his hands were going to be a little shy, and I knew that was going to be one of my strengths coming in. But with that said, because he was a Taekwondo-based fighter, he started throwing a lot of kicks, which I don't want to necessarily say surprised me, but there was something that I had to respect also.
Yeah.
And again, fortunately, I didn't get caught with any of them, but they did graze me, and they did swing by me, and I was able to see every single one of them, and block them, and not get hit. And I was able to use my movement to get around. And I think in one of his transitions to throw the kick, I had stepped to the side and threw his range off, and he ended up falling out or falling down, and that's when I pounced on the opportunity. I think he pulled me into his guard. He started, trying to work something, but I knew that, once you pull me into your guard, it's, in MMA, it's a whole different story versus just a jiu-jitsu match where,
Sure.
If you're on top, you're pounding somebody, and right there, I knew I was like, okay, I'm in a great position right now. Now it's time for me to work. I heard my corner, Matt Aragoni, telling me to drop elbows to the stomach to open up the head, and I was like, okay, you know what, I got to listen. So I started dropping the elbows, and that's when the head started opening up for me. And after that, I had just I opened up my right hand, hit him in the head a couple times, and I started seeing his eyes kind of roll to the back of his head. And that's when I started letting the ground and pound go. And before I knew it, the ref had stopped in, and I looked at Martin's eyes, and he was not there. He was not there at all.
Wow.
So
yeah. Hey Nolan, really quick. Oh wait, never mind. The video went away, but now it's back. Never mind.
Okay.
All right. So basically, right from that full guard, and obviously at that point you had already rocked him, and that was just the beginning of the end, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all she wrote, man. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a good victory, man. It was, again, for myself, it was a great accomplishment, taking out somebody that was undefeated. Also, I improved to 3-0. Yes. two first round finishes in my record, and it feels good, man. It feels great to have all the hard work and sacrifice, just lead up to that point, and I just could not be happier, man.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna call you out on something as we lead into what I think is the biggest thing going on right now. Now, when I do these, believe me, everyone has their journey, just like whatever my path is different from that guy's path. So I'm just always curious. I'll ask the question. But I figure anyone who's looking to do MMA, they want to be challenged. And I always figured there's always that, like, sure, I want to make it to whether it be Bellator or UFC or the big show, the big stage, make this a career. But I thought you had a smart response with that in saying, hey, I want those things, but realistically, you just never know. But I'm going to keep the ball going, take it a day at a time, and that's how we were talking, right? Which I respect 100%. And I asked you about your future, and, you're like, well, I'm not too sure. But UFC, you're like, of course, I want to make it UFC. And I was like, that's what I want to hear. If that's truly what you want, say that. Say it out loud. Believe it. All of that, and now we're here today where this man, Martin Day, and please give me the details, but Martin Day, he was 4-0 from Hawaii, and apparently was already possibly going towards the UFC route because of the hype and everything else. But then here comes Suave on this fight and knocks him out first round KO. So then it would be like, and that's the game, right? All that hype, all that attention for somewhat would then go to your side. So tell me about, you in the UFC or kind of what happened. You did post something along these lines. So tell us about kind of what's in the near future, what you might know, what you're kind of looking forward to.
Well, yeah, I think that, I want to use this example, right? You're at a train station, the train stops, you're trying to get to a different train station, right? Or you're trying to get your destination. You want to take the next train, and I think he was the first train and his train stopped. And I think this is where, my train is my train is going forward, and I got to keep the momentum. But
right.
Yeah, I think he was in the works of getting some kind of contract with UFC. I know that his team over in Hawaii has a bunch of UFC fighters already. I think they got Russell Doan, they got Luis Smolka, and a ton of other. Oh, they got who's the brand new 45 champ for the UFC, Max Holloway. They got Max Holloway over there. Yeah, I think they, that cat name dropped him. So there was attention on this guy, man, and I think that. With this victory, it definitely propels me forward towards something, hopefully, God willing, it's the UFC. I want to go out there and compete. I want to compete in the UFC's bantamweight division. I think I could rock a couple heads. In fact, I know I could rock a couple heads, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. And that's in the works right now with my manager John Magoo, first degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a great guy. We're just looking for that, and we're waiting on a call. I'm ready to go whenever. So Dana White, Sean Shelby, I'm right here, man. 135. I'm ready to go.
Nice. And I know nowadays, and that was actually part of why I wanted to interview fighters. In general, I'm just a big MMA fan. But other than that, I figured, hey, I got a podcast. I got the camera. I got the lights. Let me put it all together for you, and let me get it out there. And I'm going to put on the Facebook, so everyone who's watching, the Facebook, the Instagram, Nohelin SUAVE Hernandez. If you have not seen him fight, you got to see him fight. He's already with AKA, which is obviously a gym of champions. And those were one of my first things. I was like, he looks good. He's young. You got all the ingredients for success. You got all the ingredients for a big promotion like that to look at you, because you have so many years ahead of you and you're already doing so well. So I saw a bright light beforehand. This is now like an even, that light just got brighter because you're a little bit closer. And I cannot congratulate you more. I can't be really happier for you more than I am right now. And like you said, take a day at a time. We get this out there. Keep the ball rolling, and I think your analogy was perfect. I've heard other people say it too. When you win, one door opens. When you lose, another door opens. So
right.
I think it is important to stay humble, stay focused. Whatever that next step is, putting all your focus in like you did. Man, I got so much respect for you. You're so young, but yet so mature, and you're playing this game, from what I feel, the right way. And I love it, man. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan.
No. Yeah, man, and I want to again thank you, and with that said, it's again I want in at that UFC bantamweight division, man. I know I could rock some heads. Man. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Meantime, stay hungry, stay humble, and just see what happens from here.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, obviously, we'll look forward to the photos. Obviously, any footage that we get. Global Knockout 9 or Global Knockout. I'm gonna be promoting them as well, because they're doing great things. And Nohelin, thank you for reaching out to want to do this again too, and be on the show. It is absolutely my honor, my pleasure to have you. As soon as you get any other big news, hopefully we can chat again. And again, sky's the limit. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, brother. For any fans out there that might want to follow me, you guys can go ahead and check out my social medias. You guys can follow me on Instagram at suave_135. Check me out on Facebook at Josh N. Hernandez. I don't have a Twitter yet, but I will get on that. Any other social media, I don't have, but you guys, I'm not too hard to find. So keep a lookout for me. And I want to thank the parents, my sponsors, coaches. Anybody that supports the dream, anybody that supports the hustle. I think that, I think I was telling this to a friend earlier, is like, success, it's a double-edged sword sometimes. And, it breeds a lot of love. You see who's down for you. And it also, kind of brings upon a little bit of, the opposite of that. And
kind of like a filter.
I think
a filter. It's like hard to see what's real or not anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And, I'm just sticking close to my family, my friends, and my coaches and people that are, really trying to get me to the top. And anybody else, I'm not too concerned about. But, keep it positive like always,
Yeah.
and hope for the best, man. So, UFC, I'm right
On the
here.
way. On the way. On the way. Well,
That's right.
we definitely will do that. I'm going to put all your social media so everybody knows how to find you. And again, congratulations. Keep me updated on the next news, the next fight, whatever's coming up. And peace, brother. Love you, man.
All right, man. Sounds good, man. Take care.
Peace out, brother. Bye-bye. Woo! Nohelin SUAVE Hernandez. So there you go. There's a lot of back-end story. We were kind of chatting about it before. Where Martin Day, this guy was very, very good. Had a lot of hype behind him. Maybe after a win here, maybe the UFC would have really looked at him. He would have been 5-0, so on and so forth. But Suave came in. He performed well, and now he is on the winning track. So who knows what's going to be next? Of course, I will keep you updated. Thank you guys again for watching and supporting Let's Talk MMA podcast. If you guys want to be on this show, you guys want to talk MMA, hit me up. We'll make it happen. So until next time, peace.